Boxes, Lost Fragments is a game about opening boxes and solving puzzles. It is a linear and straightforward game, and yet I found it to be really enjoyable and satisfying. So much so that it sparked a question in my head. Why is it so satisfying to open boxes? Hi guys, this is Jay. Boxes is made by Big Loop Studios, a small studio that contains less than 10 persons. They have made various puzzle games throughout the years, but Boxes is the one that caught my attention because of its aesthetic and its atmosphere. More importantly, it tickled my brain and pushed me to research why this experience was so satisfying. Let's start with the simple concept of opening boxes and gifts. I'm sure you've already opened a box or a gift sometime in your life. As you know, every nut you undo and wrapping you tear has this excitement linked to it, because there's this anticipation of finding out what's in the box. Your mind is running wild with ideas of what it could be, and usually those ideas are all things you really want to receive as a gift, which contributes to your state of excitement. The same concept is applied here, and this is true with all the chests, loot containers, and packs of cards you open in different games. There's a reason why loot boxes and packs of cards are so present in the microtransaction world. People can't stop themselves from buying them. These money-grabbing machines tap into something that is fundamentally wired in us, and this game uses the same concept, without costing you money every time, of course. To understand why this technique is so effective, we need to look at the reward system that is present in us. The mesolimbic system is composed of several parts of the brain that are responsible for the application of this reward system. When you do something that has a positive or beneficial outcome, the brain gives you a reward in the form of many neurotransmitters, the dominant one being dopamine. This reward is present when you eat food, have good social interactions, and can even be linked to substance abuse. Knowing this, we can understand that the reward system makes a person adjust their actions to have that dopamine release as often as possible. This logic can be applied to anything that makes you feel good. Since you have a positive result after doing something, you are bound to do more of it in the future to get that reward. This can begin to explain why people won't stop buying loot boxes, lottery tickets, and other quote-unquote addicting stuff. For example, every time you open a loot box, you get a dopamine release. Because your imagination runs wild with possibilities, there's some pretty animations on the screen, and all of that makes you feel like something big is happening. Obviously, the same logical explanation applies to this game, but there's an added value here: the puzzles. These boxes are special. You're not simply pushing a button to open them. You have to think and solve different puzzles to access different compartments of the boxes. This actually taps into our brain in a similar way that the reward system does, and is in some part directly related to it. When you interact with something, you immediately form a prediction of what the outcome of that interaction will be. The achievement of the outcome you predicted can not only release dopamine, but it also validates your comprehension of the world you live in, as well as the laws that applies to it. It makes you feel in control, because you understand how things work. On the flip side, when you try something and it doesn't have the outcome you predicted, you know something is wrong. Either something is broken, like a light not turning on, or you're not understanding how something works. And that is usually the one that feels the worst. But as humans, we are driven by a will to understand the things around us. Well, up to a certain point at least. Working to figure out something and finally getting it right feels as good, if not better, than getting it the first time. If we apply all of this logic to puzzles, and to this game in particular, we can now understand why solving each section of the boxes, hearing the clicks, the unlocks, and ultimately acquiring what is inside is so enjoyable and satisfying. Now that we went through boxes and the system it has in place, I want to know what you think. Let's talk about anything boxes, lost fragments in the comments below. I'm not a psychologist, so if you have more information on the overall subject, I would find it really interesting to find out more about it. With that being said, take care of yourself, happy gaming, and I will see you in the next part of our Odyssey.